Today's story about the attempted kidnap of the granddaughter of wealthy socialite and dairy farmer Grace Durand in June 1932. Durand, founder of Crabtree Farm in Lake Bluff, Illinois, was one of the most forward-thinking dairy farmers of her day. Durand was known for advocating for children's health, producing pure, high-quality milk, and for pampering her cows. She enlisted the unusual method of playing opera music while the cows were milked. Grace claimed the milk made the cows happy, and consequently, their milk tasted better and was more nutritious. With her success in raising standards in dairying through hygienic methods, Durand began to be called the Dairy Queen. Grace and her husband, F. Scott Durand, had an adopted foster son named Jack Durand. Jack lived near his parents with his wife, Genevieve, and 2 children. Jack had a troubled past, including serving time in jail for breaking and entering and stealing jewelry. While in jail, he became associated with various criminals, including Joseph Vertico and Peter Cuniff, who became aware that he was from a wealthy family and plotted to kidnap him to extort money. They threatened Jack by sending letters stating,
"I've been trying to see you for some time. Somehow you are dodging me. Now I am giving you one more chance, and that's that."
Jack chose to ignore these threats and not involve the police. He also claimed to the crooks that his family would not ransom the demanded $50,000, about $1 million today. Through sources of their own, the police learned about the kidnapping plot and decided to hatch their own plan. They decided to allow the kidnapping to happen so they could catch the criminals in action and arrest them on the spot. However, once the criminals realized their threats were going nowhere with Jack, they switched to kidnapping Jack's daughter, Patricia. The police were forced to drop their original plans to capture the criminals in action once an innocent child was involved. The police and Jack began to work together to figure out how to arrest the men. Jack cooperated by turning over the threatening letters and sharing details from conversations he'd had with the 2 criminals. The kidnappers did not realize the police were onto them and continued their threats. One day, the 2 men showed up to Jack Durand's house in Lake Bluff to intimidate his wife and demand the money from her. The crooks continued with their plans and officially set the date to kidnap Jack's 2-year-old daughter, Patricia. The police also heard about the scheduled kidnap and went to guard Jack Durand's home with intent to capture the criminals as soon as they arrived. Instead of showing up at Jack's house, the would-be kidnappers actually went to Crabtree Farm, where his mother, Grace Durand, lived. When they asked for Jack, Grace thought fast. She later told authorities,
"I don't know yet why they didn't go to Jack's home, but I said, well, he isn't here right now, but he'll be here in a few minutes. Won't you wait?"
While the 2 men waited on Durand's front porch, she was able to call the police at her son's home and let them know the kidnappers were there. Vertico and Cuniff were taken by surprise when the police arrived instead of Jack and surrounded them. The 2 men surrendered without resistance, and when confronted, the criminals claimed they had driven to Lake Bluff to talk to Jack and ask him for a favor for a formal cellmate, and were not there to kidnap anyone. Due to the quick wit and clever thinking of the Dairy Queen, Grace Durand, the kidnapping plot was foiled and her family was safe once again. Keep an eye out for our next video in the series to learn more about the infamous true crimes of Lake County.